You're listening to the 12th Man Podcast, sponsored by Teesside Commercial Cleaning Services and part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
Right, good evening. Welcome to the 12 Man Podcast, live on Facebook, on YouTube, all your popular places that you listen to your podcasts as well. Got me, Steve Jackson. I'm your host for the evening. We'll talk through everything that happened over the past week or so. Got three delightful guests with me. Mr. John Donovan, start. Evening, JD.
Good evening. You okay?
Oh, good evening. Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Good. Got Mr. Jacob Jervis with us. Evening, Jacob.
Evening.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks to you.
Yeah, good, thank you. And last but not least, got Mr. Nick Waits with us as well. Evening, Nick.
Evening, Steve.
How are we doing?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Good. Right,
Well,
so yes. Well, this hour chat with us will get you through it. Don't you worry. So yes, we're going to talk all things Borough. We've got loads to talk about tonight, loads. We'll talk about the trip to Blackburn and the kindness of Charlie when the fans stopped off there. We'll talk through the money they raised for the fundraiser. We'll talk about a disaster of a 60-70 minutes at Ewood Park. We'll talk about that. What the reasons were. Did we get it wrong? You know, how bad? Who got it wrong? We'll talk about ticket prices again after the releasing of QPR tickets. Quite ridiculous, to be quite honest. The price that we've been charged, but hey ho. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Sam Byram as well. He's just signed a new contract and joined the Borough. We'll talk about him, what he brings to the table. We'll preview the two games coming up as well, Doncaster and West Brom. And hopefully during this hour, we'll try and find out who Isaac is as well. Because everybody's been asking it since Saturday. We'll try and find out who he is. So yeah, if you do know him, get in touch. So yes, start with, before I do start, obviously it was a horrible weekend for Teesside in a whole. This weekend, the loss of the two police officers hit by a car on the wrong side of the road. No one should ever have to go to work and never go home from it. Two young police officers as well, so my thoughts are with them from all of us, to their family, friends, etc. There is a GoFundMe page floating about as well, so if you have seen that, please donate to it. I think it's got over £100,000 now in it as well, so it's an unbelievable effort, but it shows what Teesside's like.
It's 600,000 at the moment.
Wow, there you go. See, there you go. It's massive effort, incredible. It's an accident that shouldn't have happened, but it did. And unfortunately, them two lives meant that they didn't go home to their loved ones after their shift on Friday night. So yeah, right. Start with you, JD. Saturday morning, Blackburn. How was the trip down?
Yep, fairly uneventful. Yeah, straightforward. Got to Blackburn and the pub that we booked in plenty of time.
Fairly uneventful. I'm not asking.
Well, I mean that, you know. No, but I mean, yeah. There were. Well, I don't know what you want me to say. There was no incidents on the roads. We got to our place in plenty of time. It was absolutely fine.
That's exactly.
Weather was nice. It was fine.
Good. Usual pub you went to?
Yes, yeah. We went back to the pub that we've been going to for a number of years in Darwin. Yeah, all good.
Oh, good. Happy days. I know a lot of fans went to.
Just thinking out loud.
Go on.
Just thinking out loud there, Steve. Do you think with that tragedy on Saturday, do you think if the game had been at home, they'd have had to call it off?
Because of the road closure.
Because it would have been, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
no, that's
thankful.
In my head there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that because of it, you know, that there would be some gesture from our club at Saturday's game, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, so hopefully something will be said. Because it was horrendous. Waking up to that on Saturday morning for everyone was just horrendous. But as I was saying, fans did stop off at Chorley on the way down. They raised £161.51 for their bucket collection as well for the fundraise for efforts that we're doing for the 150th anniversary. So many thanks to them. Massive effort, incredible. They didn't have to do it, but yeah, fair play to them doing it. Come to the team then. Obviously, everybody's settling in, trying to get to the stadium, etc. I'll start with you, Nick. 4 changes made. To be fair, the 4 changes I probably expected, apart from Castledine. What about you?
I wouldn't. I think at the start of the season, Steve, it's very difficult to predict what the team's going to be, and I think it was one of those. Well, those are the 11 players. I didn't see any particular weaknesses in the 11. And let's see what transpires. We don't know how fit some of those players are. We don't know how we don't know what the plan was in terms of the moment. We just don't.
I see what you mean. I see it's beginning of the season, the first 5-6 games is going to be difficult to predict. The only one I didn't like, Jacob, I'll come to you on this one. Joseph was dropped, which to me, when you saw the team, Lancashire looked very much isolated. Obviously, we'll talk about that a bit more. But did it look the same to you?
Yeah, I think again, hindsight's great, isn't it? If we won, then no one would say anything. But I think just a separate point is that sometimes you can make too many changes. I think to a team. I'm not suggesting that the team start the game very well last week against Lincoln. Like I say, it was actually people who probably come off the bench that changed the game. So you can understand why there was changes to the team. But I do think 4 changes after game week 1 is quite a lot, to be honest. And sometimes the worst thing you can do at the beginning of the season when you're already bedding people in is chop and change with too many changes. So I'll be honest, I think it was probably a change or two too many, just in terms of trying to keep some lineup consistency, because I think at the minute Tony Mowbray probably knew the team better than Kim Helberg did on Saturday's game. So I know it's early doors and we're still trying to figure things out, but yeah, I thought a couple of them were probably forced and not necessary, really.
That's an interesting take, to be quite honest. I mean, we'll talk about the differences between Tony Mowbray and Kim Helberg as we go on. But John, I'll come to you about the team. I say you made changes in the defence, midfield and attack. I say those changes all around the pitch. What did you make of the team?
It's the start of the season. We're second game in, but we had a week to prepare for Blackburn. Did he need to make the number of changes that he did? It might have been forced upon him, with strains or with potential injury. I don't know. I mean, I was like Nick. I looked at the team and I thought it's well capable of winning the game. So it didn't really sort of trouble me at kickoff. But yeah, looking at things now, and I'm like you, Steve. Kyle Joseph, I like his energy. I like his work rate, and I think he does a lot to create the space for Will Lancashire. And I would have liked him to be starting the game, but it's that's not how it transpired. And to be fair, for the first 20, 25 minutes of the game, we looked quite comfortable and quite in control. So I mean, at that point, you were thinking, this selection's right, but as we know, as the game wore on, it didn't turn out to be the case, and we'll go in to discuss that in depth, I would imagine.
Exactly. I mean, I'll stay with you for the first goal, because you said obviously we started the first 15-20 minutes really well, which we really did. I say we put Blackburn under a lot of pressure. They had to step back quite a bit. And to be quite frank, the goal we scored, I thought was a really good goal. They say it was well taken. The ball through from Whittaker was really good. They say Sarmiento. It was a Sarmiento I was dying for us to see from January onwards. They say he just had a bit of control about him, a bit of. I'm trying to think of the word. It's a bit of composure about him. He just stopped and thought about where he was going to put the ball instead of, at times last season he was lashing at the ball. It was a really good finish. It was a well-deserved lead as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, the build-up was quite good. There was, I don't know, 8 to 10 passes before the ball fell to Whittaker, and he put it like an angled through ball, and Sarmiento hit it first time into the corner. Really good goal, good build-up, good finish. Like you say, Sarmiento didn't over-elaborate it, took it first time and finished quite well. And at the time in the game, it was a lead that looked like it was coming, and we thoroughly deserved it.
We did. We absolutely deserved it. And to be honest, at that point, I thought we'd score 2, 3, maybe 4 going on. But do you think once we scored the goal, Nick, we seemed to step back a little bit, and all of a sudden the flowing passes and the flowing movement, we didn't really have it anymore. It was kind of, I don't know what happened. It's like we said, right, we've got a goal, let's keep it till half time, but we were miles away from half time, and it seemed to give Blackburn a bit of confidence. It all started really from the block on the line from Luke Ayling.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the earlier points, could that selection have been to try and out Fox Mogger, who was obviously at the Lincoln match? Could it have been, because he thought we'd set up with the same team? Could it be that, we changed it around to try and outwit Mogger? I don't know, but I mean, if you look at the rest of that first half and when we scored, they could have very easily have had 3 goals. Really, I mean, they're all on the counter attack, all very similar. Two good saves from the keeper, and the other one cleared off the line by Ayling. But I mean, if we'd gone in 2 or 3-1 down, I don't think anybody could have had any real complaints, because they were the best chances of the half.
Yeah, and to be honest, we went in still 1-0 up, Jacob, and like Nick said, I thought we were really fortunate to be still 1-0 up. They had really good chances, and we didn't seem to learn from that. It wasn't a case of we weathered the storm a little bit at the end of the first half. We didn't look at each other and think, right, let's just reset, and start again. But we just didn't seem to do that. We just seemed to be pushing ourselves further and further back.
Yeah, it was a bit strange, really. I don't know. Again, sometimes it's not. I'm sure they weren't intending to stop attacking or whatever some people might say, because I'm sure that wasn't the aim. Sometimes it's just a feel and what happens on the pitch, isn't it? But I don't know. You'd hope that we had individuals on the pitch that could pick the game up and say, look, we're not going to let it go flat. Don't let the game get away from you. Keep doing the right things, even if it's frustrating or whatever. And it was often, times at the little dodgy runs we had last year where things just went a little bit flat. And all it takes is about 10-15 minutes, and you give away a couple of daft goals, and you give yourself a lot of work to do, because obviously once Blackburn got 2 goals, then obviously they sit deeper and become more happy to defend what they've got. So we made the game harder for ourselves than it needed to be. I think the big thing was when we scored the first goal is if we got another goal before half time, it was probably our game. Blackburn had a really poor record at home last season. And obviously different team under Mogger, and they will do much better. But even then, it's them almost failings of last year won't just disappear. So it was a little bit disappointing for us not to see us really push for that second goal and kill the game off. Because you only need one chance and you peg back, which is what we found. They didn't have loads of attempts on goal, but you don't need that much. So yeah, it's disappointing really.
It was. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't disagree with that. That's exactly what I felt. Full time. I was so disappointed with it. Um, so let's talk about the two goals we did concede because they were both similar. As if there were balls into the box that we just couldn't defend. The first one, yeah, it was deflected, but both goals were exactly the same, John. We couldn't stop the ball coming in the box. The second one really narked me, really narked because it was a free header. The defence and midfield watched Cantwell just walk in, but both goals were so poor.
Yeah, I mean against Lincoln, we showed signs in the first half that we struggled aerially in our box, and that'll have been something no doubt Mowbray picked up on. And the chance that they had first half that Ayling cleared off the line, that was from what should have been a routine header out of the box, but he misjudged it, and we missed the header, and it fell to the Blackburn player to put the volley in, and we were lucky that Ayling managed to get it before it crossed the line. So I think that was something that Mowbray identified against Lincoln, and in the second half they were putting more aerial balls into the box, and for some reason, I mean, we've got players who are big enough to be able to defend, but we didn't. You know that if you watch the first goal again, it's virtually a free header, but there are 5 or 6 Borough players between the player who scored and the goalkeeper, and he has a free header. It's something that we need to sort out, because we'll score goals this season, you know, with the quality of players we've got up top. But the percentage of wins that teams get if they concede 2 goals in a game, it's a small percentage. You know, you don't get many 3-2, 4-2, whatever wins. So we have to stop conceding silly goals, and we've got to get ourselves organised from set pieces where the ball's put into the box, corners, free kicks, or even just crosses in open play into the box. We've got to get ourselves organised, because we were all over the place on Saturday when they put the ball into our box.
When you think about it, though, John, and you look at the defence, and you compare it to last year, I think 2 things. One, I would say, is that last year when we were conceding goals, a lot of them tended to be, they had one chance and they scored from it, whereas that wasn't the case on Saturday. You know, they had 5 chances and scored 2, and then really sat back whether they could have got more. And the second thing, if you look at the personnel, you know, we've effectively swapped Matt Targett, who was a good defender but not particularly good going forward, with Max Arfston, who, you know, for me at the moment, you know, defensive wise, you know, there's question marks. And secondly, we've effectively swapped Dale Fry for Luke Ayling. Well, if you ask me which of those 2 you'd want in centre half to defend, unfortunately, it wouldn't be Luke Ayling.
No, that's right. I know. Yeah. We're obviously. I can't wait for Ashley Phillips to become match fit, Alfie Jones to become match fit. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in the first half, they had 3 good chances on target, 2 that the keeper made good saves from, and the one off the line. There was only two chances on target second half, both goals. And again, the second goal, we had chances to sort of get the ball away, but Vitek made a save, pushed the ball wide, and the ball was knocked back in, and Cantwell was unmarked. And again, watch it again, and there are plenty of players behind the ball, between the ball and the goal, but none of them attacked the ball, and it was a free header. It was sloppy. It was disorganised, and it's something we need to sort out, because, like I say, Mowbray must have picked up on that from the Lincoln game, and other managers are going to do exactly the same. They're going to see where the weakness is and try and exploit it.
That's the bit that annoyed me, to be honest. The second goal, the fact that we had so many players in between the ball and the goal that they all watched Cantwell walk in, and he just walked in, free will, just watched the ball, tracked the ball, where it was going to go to, and just put and met the ball really well. Vitek had no chance. I've seen people on social media saying Vitek had a poor game. You couldn't blame Vitek for the goals we conceded. I'm sorry, you couldn't. It was the defending.
No.
It's like you said, John. The amount of players that just watched and let it happen. That's lack of discipline, isn't it? That's lack of thought about what's going on in front of you, isn't it?
Well, it's just lack of the players knowing their own job, who's doing what, who's looking after who. It just seemed as though nobody took responsibility. And like I say, we were punished twice with 3 headers. It's something we've got to correct.
Again, though, John, have we got it fundamentally wrong when you've got Sarmiento lining up with Gudjonsson for the first goal?
Mm-hmm.
I know we're almost playing a semi-zonal system, but it's a pretty big mismatch, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah, a big lad picks a big lad up. I mean, it's fairly standard. It's fairly obvious. It's common sense. But yeah, there was the mismatch there. But not only that, I mean, if you watch it again, when he rises, there's nobody really getting anywhere near him, and it was a poor goal to concede. It was a well taken header from his point of view, but it was like a training session because he had nobody really sort of fighting with him to get to the ball first. It was a disappointing goal to concede.
Yeah, it was. It outlines something that we all spoke about. Well, some of us spoke about on Saturday night when we were all chatting. Lack of a leader. I mean, you mentioned it straight away, Nick. We lack a leader in the middle of the park. Because, I mean, the 2 players you brought were Ledbetter and Southgate. Both of them would have brought all the players together, especially because the goals were so similar that we conceded. Just to say, remember your jobs, fundamental job one. Pick up your players, do your individual roles. And we don't have that on the pitch, do we?
There's no leaders, no. You could argue, couldn't you, that it's a new team, it's a lot of new players, not knowing really where they should be playing and what they should be doing. You can forgive them a little bit for that, but I just question. We haven't got anybody on the pitch who is, in my opinion, capable of, getting all the people by the throat almost. I mean that unfortunately today's football is gone, but for me, that you need something. Probably the do-gooders are saying that you're not supposed to do that. And again, a very interesting conversation with Graham Souness over that a few weeks ago. But that those days have gone. But we don't have anybody on the pitch. You looked at them walking back to the centre circle when we conceded, and there was a couple of them sort of waving their hands, sort of round in circles type thing. Come on, let's get going, and that was it. There's never any blame attached to it, and I think laying blame is healthy.
You're right. It's accountability, isn't it? That's what it is. It's accountability for your own actions. That's exactly what it is.
Mm. The thing is, I mean, to fall foul of a goal because an opponent has a free header once, it's bad enough. But then to do it 5 minutes later, that's very poor, and it's not good enough for me. I mean, from a defensive point of view, we need to sharpen up. Because, like I said, I reckon we'll be okay scoring goals, but we can't give ourselves too much to do. By having to score 3 or more goals to win games, that makes the job more difficult. we need clean sheets. We need to have clean sheets and get them quickly. Get our defence organised. Yes, I know there's new personnel and it might take time to settle in, but Malander and Ayling in the middle, they're not new to each other. They should be the ones who are rising to the challenge and taking on the bigger players of the opponent when it comes to balls into the box. Not the likes of Sarmiento. That's like Nick said, he called it a mismatch, and that's a perfect word for it. But something we need sorting out, because games come thick and fast. We need to get organised quickly. We need clean sheets to help us progress it into the position we want to be in this league.
Absolutely right. I couldn't agree more with that. And I feel I'll bring you in on obviously all this, Jacob. John mentioned there, the problem is at the back, and he's absolutely right. The problem is at the back. But two stats I've wrote down from this game. I feel like we're going to have the same chat we had last season. 71% possession, and we had 22 shots with only 3 on target. That's for the money we spent. And people are going to say, you can't bring that into it so soon. I'm going to. With the money we spent on the creative players that we've got now, that's nowhere near good enough, is it? 3 shots on target in that space of time.
Well, no, we don't even need to bring in money we spent. We can take that back to last season because that was very, very similar stats. What we are. Again, we're too early in terms of. When something's so early, you can choose which narrative you take, right? So I could sit here and go, well, we scored against Wrexham, we won 1-0, and it was a pretty much a goal out of nothing. If he didn't do that, where he spun round and put it in the bottom corner, it might be 0-0. We don't score a goal. We nicked the game in the last second of the game last week. And again, one of the goals is through it being slammed across the middle and someone getting the foot on it. And the second one's through a moment of magic from McGree. So in terms of fluid play, again, you can argue that we haven't been very fluid. But again, it's early doors, so you can choose that argument, or you can say the team has won 2 out of 3. So it depends which way you run with things, especially early doors. But going back to the stats, to me, I think we'd be interested. Obviously, the manager would never admit this, but we've seen this now over 6 months or 31 games. I think he's coached now. So, in terms of that, how much do we stat pad in terms of? We make the stats look pretty good in terms of what you say, 17 attempts at the goal. Where are we shooting from? Sometimes, our shooting seems to have got progressively worse in terms of out the area shots. We have the obligatory Morris 3 or 4 where he smashes them and nothing ever comes of them. And again, it's hard on the other. On the other hand, I'm mourning because we're horseshoeing the ball around the box for 50 minutes instead of someone putting across on somebody's head. So again, you can contradict yourself in terms of saying, well, we want shots, we want more action without pass. But again, it depends where the action's happening and where it's from. Because to only register 3 on target for 71% of the ball. I'm guessing they had at least 5 on target. So with 29%. So if give me a 2-1 win on 29% of the ball, yes, I'll have that over a 2-1 loss and 71% of the ball. And the only thing I'd say on the possession thing that worries me is when's a Tony Mowbray team ever settled for 29% possession at home? He's never ever done that in his career, pretty much ever, as a manager, because he's actually a manager that usually likes to be on the front foot. And he was gutted when Middlesbrough was the first game because he wanted to show their fans the type of football that they'll play, because they won't play like that most weeks. That was an adaptation to play Middlesbrough. And teams are adapting two games in to play like that because they know what worked for teams last season. So we have to have a response to that because we'll find ourselves in positions of last year where we're playing teams like Charlton, we're playing I know we won't be playing Oxford, but I'm just using example games from last year where they'll come and they'll sit back, and we'll just become a little bit stuck and not really know how to deal with it. So already, after 2 weeks, there's a blueprint for sides there to set up in a certain way to beat us. And we've got to find something different to react to that. Or again, we'll find ourselves sat here with another, 10 close defeats this season where, the other teams barely touch the ball. So, like I said, they've got to come up with something. But you'd hope they would have come up with that throughout the pre-season and stuff, because basically you eliminate those games last year, we'd be in the Premier League. So it was clear what the only fix that was almost needed was. So we'll see. Plenty of time to go, but we need to sort out, really.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're 2 games in. I mean, you look at the Lincoln game. Their keeper had a blinder. He made 2 or 3 fantastic saves. On Saturday, second half, the Blackburn Rovers keeper made 2 great saves from Pert Harris and Whittaker. Now, I'm not trying to sort of try to look at it through rose-coloured glasses, but we're 2 games in. Let's have a little bit of perspective. I'm concerned about a massive problem area that we had at the back, dealing with the balls into our box aerially, and I think that's something that we showed against Lincoln, and Tony Mowbray witnessed that, and especially second half, he told them to put more balls into the box. But it's 2 games in. We got what we deserved from Saturday, which was nothing. But we've got to improve. We've certainly got to improve at the back. We've got to get clean sheets starting tomorrow night, and go from there. Because if we concede goals as cheaply as we did against Blackburn, then it will be a difficult season.
I don't think it's necessarily tactical, though, is it? That kind of defending stuff. I think that generally is basics of just wanting to defend. Sometimes you, again, we'll never know. But is it we spend that much time of the game in possession? The times where you've got to focus and watch a shot, watch a counter, watch a cross. Do we lack that focus? Because our centre backs are usually spending so much time piddling around with the ball rather than defending because of the way we play, which is fine. That's the way we want to do things. But it's the we know we're probably only going to deal with 5 or 6 attacks a match, right? The way we play, most teams will settle to just create 5 or 6 moments and hope they take them. Because we'll usually give them 2 or 3 quality chances. It's just whether they put them away. So I think it's almost a want to defend. One thing we built well last season for probably the first 30 matches of the season was when Borough went 1-0 up, you would have to do something pretty special to peg them back. Because across the team for about 30 matches, we did have a really an almost protect the goal at all costs attitude, and hopefully that hasn't gone away again. It's 5 minutes of one match, so we could only comment in 10-15 weeks, 10-15 games, whether that's the case and whether we think we're too soft. So we'll see if it's a recurring issue.
Yeah, who though in the right mind makes the decision to pair up Jeremy Sarmiento with Blackburn's number 9.
No, that's tactical.
Yeah, I mean,
I more meant the
no,
ball, but yeah, that is.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm just saying, just to highlight that issue that Nick raised. Why didn't the experience of Ayling or Malander realise that that's not right? That's it's a total mismatch. So yeah, but nobody said to Sarmiento, go and stand on the post or whatever, and I'll look after him. And he goes and
that might have been, you know, usually players will get assigned players to mark on set pieces and things. Or I know sometimes it was zonal and things like that, but often the players are told, you know, which players to go and stand on. So,
but that's my point.
That's
my point. Would any of us here? Would any of us here now pair Sarmiento with Good Johnson? I'm just asking a question. Would any of you do that?
Of course not. No.
No. So I mean, it just seems bizarre, absolutely bizarre.
Well,
that
I think it's a good example of trying to overcomplicate. Obviously, they'll have a reason for that, but I'm sure it's quite far fetched because to me, there's a lot more evidence to suggest it's not going to work than it is going to work. So like I say, be interested to see if that was something that Hellberg or whoever set piece coach, whoever it might be, said, or you know, that we're going to put Sarmiento on him. But yeah, you're right. It does seem.
Well, you think even Sarmiento would have said something, wouldn't you? You think Sarmiento might have said, "Hey, come on, I can't mark him. He's twice the size of me."
I know, and yeah, it's baffling. And I'm sorry, even if it's decided within the dressing room, out on the pitch, surely you must take a look and say, "Nah, I'm sorry. I'll ignore what we were told, and I'll mark him. I'm as physical as him. I'm as tall as him. And if the gaffer tears a strip off me, then you know, fair play." But yeah, it was a total mismatch, and yeah, it just
almost. Go on, sorry.
What do you make of Malander in the air aerially for a big lad? Because I think sometimes he can be quite poor on crosses for his size.
You get above Sarmiento.
Yeah, you're right. He's not the strongest, and like Nick said earlier, Dale Fry wouldn't have allowed that free header, I'm sure. But he's better than Sarmiento. Yeah, you know, it was a weird matchup.
But then you could argue, after moving on from that, though, that the last half hour was almost as bad as the defending was, in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to come back to that. I mean, there's this comment come through on here from you and Waller saying, seems like a lot of our shots are blocked, we're overplay, and it seems like shooting is a last resort. Team is desperate for pace and a ball carrier in the midfield. He's absolutely right. The amount of times he went from left to right to left to right, and then one player seems to think, you know what, we've done this too many times, I'm just going to shoot. And it did seem a bit like last resort, and it just... That's what I mean when a bit accountability, just, you know, just saying, well, hang on, are we doing the right thing? Are we setting up the right way? Are we pushing them back in the right positions? There was so much space out wide. At times, we didn't use it, and I don't know why. It just seems, like Jacob said, carbon copy of last season. It was just, we knew what was coming. Last 10 minutes, I wasn't confident the last 10 minutes we would score. I'll be absolutely honest on that, and I think that's probably what hurts most. You go to the last 10 minutes, think we're getting an equaliser, we do all right here, but I just didn't feel it. I didn't. We just didn't.
I mean, why didn't we? Why didn't we? Even in the last 10 minutes, you know, it was still totally isolated. You know, we had all the possession, and we had players all over the place, except for anybody anywhere near Lancashire. Even when they brought the subs on, it didn't change.
No. I mean, I despair sometimes of the people who, when Ayling gets the ball and he comes within 10 yards of the 18-yard box, to scream and shoot. And you know, and McGree, sorry, not so much McGree, but Morris as well. I'm thinking, I don't think we've got a good percentage here of him getting a shot on target, but to scream and shoot at him, and it just, I'd much prefer the ball, like our 2 goals against Lincoln showed, come in from the wider areas. I know Castledene, we were quite fortunate where it took a deflection, but Lancashire was there and tapped it in, and then McGree pulled it in from the byline, and Lancashire again was there to put it in. Go wide instead of coming down the middle all the time. But, we've got to mix it up.
Yeah.
We've got to have a player as well, John. We've got to have a player who can beat a player, and that's what we haven't. We've got players out wide, but they can't beat the player. So if they can't beat the player, they can't get the byline and cross the ball.
But sometimes you don't have to beat the player. I mean, we've got Berhalter who can knock delicious balls in, but he didn't do that Saturday. He wasn't in the right place, or he kept hitting the first man. He didn't do that at all. But we've seen what he's capable of. But putting the balls into the box for Lancashire and maybe Joseph, who's lurking around that area to feed off, that's something we need to do. Not long distance shots, please.
No, you're absolutely right. Because you're saying there. Obviously, you highlighted the first goal against Lincoln. Obviously, Lancashire being in the right place, and if he was still in them places on the weekend. If the ball, whether it was from out wide or just chipped in from 20, 30 yards out, he was in them positions still. He was still there, and that's what frustrated me of how isolated he was. Like, why did we not get anyone around him? Because getting people around him got us the 2 goals against Lincoln. He's not doing anything different. It's like everything around him was built different. It was strange. The last 20, 30 minutes, it really frustrated me.
I was convinced he was going to put 2 up front when Joseph come on.
Yeah.
I think everyone was thinking, right, here we go. We're going to put 2 up front. And I don't know why we never. It was definitely a needed change. And it's something I thought we might have seen already, like a 4-2-2 at times, with 2 strikers, which again we'll probably go on to. We might see something like that tomorrow. But I think again some of it is on the manager and the way he wants to play, which is idealistic sometimes in terms of. I think the reason why Whittaker stays on the pitch even when he's having a bad game, or it's people like McGree, and it's because they're a certain type of player, and it's all very probably risk adverse sometimes, where it's quite keep the ball, come back inside, pop it back in, go out the other way, pop it back in. We don't have anyone that massively goes against the grain and they'll try and go around 4 players and smack one in. We do seem to play it quite safe and quite narrow through the centre and then play it back and recycle it. So again, and in terms of staying on pattern, then that's what again the manager will want. But like Nick was saying, I think we're crying out for a bit of pace on the right hand side. In the last 10, 15 minutes of a game, even to throw someone on and go right, beat your man, put some crosses in, beat your man, cut inside, have a shot. With something a little bit different sometimes. But again, that can only happen if it's allowed. If they're under instruction to continue to. Continue to pass and come back inside and don't rush things, then obviously we'll see more of that. So again, sometimes it's answers we'll never know because we're not inside there. But yeah, I think we definitely need a bit more pace off the right, definitely.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with anything Jake was just said there. It's absolutely right. But let's take away from it. It's only the second game of the season. There's plenty we can work on. There's plenty of time to get it right, and it was obviously as people have just listened there, that's how frustrations we just showed over the last 20 minutes there. That's how frustrated we were. That's how much we want to get it right as well. I mean, Lemons just popped up on the comments there and said Blackburn was always going to be a tough place with Mogger there. There's plenty of time to cement our place in the top 2. Obviously, you go back to that's his prediction for the top 2 anyway, but he knows it was going to be tough. Mogger's always got one over us. It's just the way he is, unfortunately. But as I say, that's what it was. Quickly before we move on, I've seen your man of the match off the 3 of you. I'll start with you, John. Your man of the match for Saturday.
Yeah, well, I don't think this will be universally popular, but Vitek made 2 great saves, kept us in the game first half. Didn't have a great deal to do second half. Didn't have any chance with the goals. So I'll give it to him for the saves he made first half.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree or agree with you there. But, that's your opinion. Nick, come to you.
What about Isaac?
Sorry, I'm on mute.
I can't give Isaac that's we don't know who he is. He steps forward.
You know what? I mean, any man of the match certainly didn't get more than 6.5 out of 10. I wouldn't disagree with John. I thought Sarmiento for his goal, but then he lost his play. But was that his fault? He was buzzing around as much as anybody in the first half, and then became anonymous in the second half. But as I say, he wasn't alone. So maybe Sarmiento, but begrudgingly. I'd rather not give it to anybody, in all honesty.
That's fair. Jacob?
Yeah, I'll give mine to Sarmiento. I think to be fair to him, he's been a bit more busy in the 3 games so far. When he's played. I thought he was decent when he come on against Wrexham, and I thought he was decent on Saturday. So he needs to step up because he'll have played over 20 odd games now for Borough appearances, and that was his first goal. So he did need to do something, but fingers crossed it might G him up a bit and a bit of confidence for him. So hopefully he's a positive out of a bit of a dull day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Nick. I struggled to give someone the man of the match, but if I was going to, it would be Sarmiento. I thought he was really good in the first half. Like I said earlier, he was the player I was expecting to see from January onwards. He was more busy. He was willing to pick up the ball in places and drive with it, and he got into the space where obviously he scored his goal from. So more of that.
I don't think he should have been the one who should have made way as a substitute. He was probably one of the more lively attackers. Definitely some people stayed on the pitch that were less involved, I think. Definitely.
I thought that as well when he got brought off. I thought that. But right, we move on. A couple of things to talk about before we preview the games coming up in the week, and obviously the fundraiser as well on Saturday. Well, I'll stay with you for this one, John. New signing, Sam Byram, in on a free. Last at Leeds United. Obviously, he's been at Norwich, Forest, and West Ham as well previous. So it came up in the comments there from Stephen Jarrett as well. 32-year-old, lots of experience. He even said it in his interview with the club. He knows what it takes to get out of this division. And what we were just discussing there, a bit of leadership, bit of experience, is exactly what we need, even if it's off the pitch, just to show the lads what we actually do need to get out of this division.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of these versatile players, isn't he? He can cover both full-back positions. But it's not a spectacular signing, but I think it's very sensible. I think it gives us, you're right, experience. It helps the younger players, and it gives us good cover. So, yeah, a good bit of business in my eyes.
Yeah, it's good business. For say it hasn't cost us any money. Obviously, we'll never know what the wages are, etc. But they say transfer fee wise, there's nothing there. So they say it's going to be a sensible decision, and you could probably see as well. We do need covering in the fullback position as well, don't we? I mean, if Britain's out, what have we got to go in there? Obviously, we're still relying on Borges. Is that Borges' future under scrutiny now? But it gives that cover exactly what we need, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Like I said, he can do a job for us. He's got a lot of experience, like I said, I think it's a clever signing, sensible rather than spectacular, like I said.
Exactly. So we'll keep the money for any more business that we're going to do in the next week and a bit or so. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'll come to you the next one, Nick. Ticket prices just come out for QPR. We were talking about it last week. I say ticket prices. Obviously, Blackburn charging an arm and a leg to get in, especially in the upper tier. I thought Blackburn was quite cheap when I saw the prices that QPR were offering. £42.50 for a restricted view seat.
No,
Surely something has to be done, isn't it?
That was the top price, Steve. That was the unrestricted view.
Having
said that, unless you're on the front row, you can't see the touchline anyhow. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to blame the clubs, and nobody else. The clubs could change it at a drop of a hat. All they need is it 2/3 or 3/4 of the clubs to agree to a price cap, as in the Premiership, and it's a done deal. So for me, the only people to blame are the clubs, and unfortunately, we all know that our hearts rule our heads. And Blackburn realised that by adding £7 onto a ticket price, they would probably just about still sell out. And I dare say if they had another £7 on next year, at what point does it become unsustainable? I don't know, but you look at ticket pricing, and you look at everything. I mean, my grandson's a mascot at the game on Saturday, and I was reading that Nottingham Forest. If you want to be a mascot at Nottingham Forest, I know I'm going off track here, but if you want to be a mascot at Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, or Man City, yeah, have a guess how much it is.
200 quid.
It is 3,660 quid. It's 350 in the borough.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So where did it?
What do you get for that at Middlesbrough then?
You get a strip, and you get 3 tickets, and you get an autograph book.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, but moving back to ticket pricing, the Premiership has done it. I don't understand. I don't know whether it would be in the remit of the football regulator, whether he could interfere and say, right, this is it. But at the end of the day, the clubs have had sufficient opportunities, and our club's as bad as every other club. We're charging £36. It's not right.
I didn't think we were. I thought we were charging 33. I mean, I know there's not much difference, but I thought it was 33.
Is it 30? I don't know. It might be 33, John. I don't know. Okay.
But anyway, I mean, how could Blackburn charge? No. How could Blackburn charge 41.50 for an upper tier ticket? Because it's supposed to be but it's supposed to be the equivalent of the same stand, like the same view. Yet the upper tier behind the other goal was closed. I mean, how did they compare pricing then? That's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, I looked at on the Blackburn website the other day, and they've got 4 different categories of games. And unfortunately, we've seen the likes of Leeds suffer all those years when Leeds always used to moan, and the clubs, I don't know, it's just wrong, and when you look at what it costs to get there, for a day out, transport, food and drink, but obviously you've got your food and drink in any event. But I mean, again, Blackburn were charging £8 a pint. I understand. It's morally wrong, if nothing else.
It's exploitation. Exploitation of a big crowd.
Clubs say they care. They don't care. It's and hey, at the end of the day, it's a business. But if they're going to sell it as a business, fine. And they're there to make money. And that when you go to the Newcastle Arena or whatever, you'll be paying £8 a pint in there. And when you go to the race, you'll be paying £8 per pint in there. But it's the world we live in, unfortunately now.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I'm not trying.
£50
I'm not trying to excuse sort of Middlesbrough's prices here, but at least we as a club, every year we try to compete. We try to put a team out, and we spend money in the transfer market to try and make us compete for promotion. Yet Blackburn are charging those prices, and well, they'll say they're looking to compete, but they're not spending anything in the transfer market. At least we are putting a better product or potentially a better product on the pitch. So
well, they're not making a profit though, John. Are they? I mean, that's they're not making a profit from the business. And that perhaps something to do with the way that they run the club. I don't know, but and Nick, making a profit.
Yeah, Nick, I was on holiday and I spoke to a Stoke City fan, season ticket holder for many years, and he was sort of really pleased that his season ticket hasn't increased for X number of years. But then half an hour later, he complained about the lack of investment in his club and how they haven't finished in the top half of the table for the last 6 seasons or something like that since they were relegated. So I asked him, I said, well, would you pay an extra £100 a year if you were to have a better transfer policy and make Stoke City a better team to be able to compete, to be higher up in the league? He said, yeah, of course I would. So it's difficult. It's a balancing act, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Stoke City have kept their season ticket prices the same for X number of years, but they've done bugger all in the league. So there's no excitement. There's no there's no push from the club to improve. So really, you're in a difficult situation.
Stoke City provide free transport as well to all away games.
They do. Yeah, they do. That's right. Yeah.
It's that fine balance, isn't it?
There shouldn't need to be a fine balance, though, Steve, should there? It should be, the club should get together and say, right, this is it. Because at the end of the day, football without fans is nothing, and football without away fans is nothing either. And if you've got no away fans at a game, and you go into the continent, and fans typically don't travel to away games. There's a lot of countries where there might be 3 and 4 and a half a dozen away fans. But that's what makes the championship so good, and imagine what the game would have been like on Saturday if we'd taken 300 fans to Blackburn.
Mm-hmm.
It would have just been dead
like
there on the ground.
Yeah, a crowd of just short of 19,000 there on Saturday, and 6,700 or whatever were from Middlesbrough. So Blackburn exploited Middlesbrough because they know that we take big numbers, especially to games that are less than 2 hours away.
But again, could we? What's happened? We saw it once or twice in the dim and distant reciprocal pricing. That seems to have died a death now.
It does. But what it needs is, just like you've mentioned, just like the Premier League, there needs to be a set away ticket price. I don't see why it can't be done.
It can be done, John, but you need the clubs to support it, and clearly you haven't got that,
Yeah, I think
otherwise
our club was one. Yeah, our club was one that voted against it. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't think it's ever been voted. I'm not sure.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you need somebody to put a proposal in. And then it needs a vote, and I think you need 3/4. I think you need 3/4 of the votes.
Right.
I thought we'd voted against. They did like 20.
I did.
Did they do a 20 is plenty or something? They did like that, and I think.
Well,
I think it might.
I don't.
We wanted them that we definitely voted against something. I think.
Yeah. I had that in my memory. Yeah, you're right, Jacob. I don't know what the price was, but yeah, I was led to believe that we were one of the clubs who didn't vote for in favour of the proposal to have a price cap.
Yeah, I thought we voted against it as well, but I just don't get how some. I don't know if it's to do with the revenue coming in if you go to the Premier League. I don't know. I'll never know. But you can't think it's okay for the Premier League to have a price cap on away tickets, but then if you get relegated, it's all right just to charge whatever you. I can't get my head around it. It just needs something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. You can't be paying £40 a ticket for an away game. You can't do it.
It's not worth it, is it? I mean, from a, I know it's like worse people. There's people that go quite a lot of away matches. So maybe we're part of the problem in terms of, although we shouldn't be priced out, we will just pay whatever it is because we'll go to the match, right? And there's a lot of people who they know will just pay whatever they put the price is, regardless. But in terms of, say, if you bought the top ticket at £40 for Blackburn on Saturday, that game wasn't worth £40.
No.
Yeah, well that's it.
It was boring.
If Premier League's 30, if Premier League's 30, we're going to watch supposedly an inferior product. So it should be less really, but we're getting charged a lot more.
Exactly. I mean,
what happened, John, to the replacement to the fans forum that was supposed to be? Has that happened?
Yes, there's what's called the Borough fan panel now. Yeah, that's up and running and in place.
And who are the representatives for that?
Well, I couldn't name them all because I only know a few of them by first name only. But there is a big push now to push the club on away ticket pricing. I know we can't do it unilaterally, but there is a big push from the fan panel to get the club to take a stance on away ticket pricing.
Is it just one of them other things, or where it's just like the pay lip service and get on and do what they want?
Well, I don't think so, because we've already made a representation to the football. Is it FSA? What's that? Football Supporters Association. Yeah. So we've already made a representation to them about it. So it's not just lip service. No, that there is like a formal procedure going through. But how far that gets, like you say, it's down to the millionaire owners of the football clubs to agree to it.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's an argument that we could go on for hours and hours and hours, and we could come up with all sorts of agreements. But unfortunately, until the football clubs all come together and unanimously agree, it's never ever going to change, unfortunately. And we're going to keep talking about them prices as and when they start coming through again. So, but we move on. 2 games coming up this week. First up tomorrow night, we've got Doncaster in the Carabao Cup second round, which was reasonably priced, by the way. I will say that. So fair play to Doncaster for doing that. But question for you, Jacob: is tomorrow night's game a good opportunity to bring in some of the newer players, just to give them a feel of first team football, just to get the get a few minutes under the belt?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a strongish team, to be fair. I think it's a game we could do with winning. Hopefully score a couple of goals, clean sheet. And yeah, I would. If they can walk, I'd be playing people like Jones and Phillips, and getting some. Even if you get an hour into the legs, and then they have to be subbed off. But no, I'd rest up people like Ayling. I think give him a bit of a break. At his age, he's already played the first couple of games, and hopefully Joseph be involved from the start. Castledine should be fresh. We might see Strelec back, even though I know there's rumours he might be off, but I think Hellberg said he's supposed to be in the squad tomorrow, all being well. You might see Kante come back in and play. So I'm hoping to go reasonably strong and focus on getting through. I don't think they should just fob it off.
Definitely not.
So fingers crossed we see a strong team and a good performance.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a competition. I can't. I mean, I know we discussed it before the first round. What kind of team will we play, but I'd always go as strong as possible. It's especially this time of the season. It's important to get minutes into players that desperately need it, and especially after what happened on Saturday. Just maybe change a couple of things. Try something new. See if something different works, and then you try and develop it and work it into what you've already got, and then move forward with it. But it's a good opportunity. Tomorrow night, we say Doncaster are a good opposition. I mean, look at what happened last year when they kept the Riverside.
I'd like to see two up front. I think.
But yeah, I agree with that. And say why we differed away from it on Saturday, I don't know, because it worked against Lincoln. I say someone around Lancashire was perfect. So yeah, I'd like that as well. But yeah, before I go on to West Brom, I'll ask you for a score prediction just from all three of you. I'll start with you, Jacob. Obviously, as we discussed the game itself.
I'll say 2-0 Borough, and we'll go for Castledine to score.
Okay. Nick, come to you.
Well, I was also going to go 2-0, but I'll go 3-1 instead. I'll go 3-1 Lancashire.
Okay. John, come to you.
Yeah, 1-0. Kyle Joseph.
Nice, easy 1-0. I'll go 3-0. I'm quite optimistic. I'll go 3-0, and I'll go Berhalter. I think Berhalter will score. He's known for scoring goals, but it's time he showed it. I'm not saying he's been rusted at showing it, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll go with Berhalter. And then Saturday, West Brom at home. John, I'll speak to you about this one. I'm not going to ask you to start predicting the team, etc. But talking about the opposition, West Brom had a really good start of the season. Obviously, James Morrison taking over reins full-time basis. Brought in a good couple of additions. We say beat Burnley at the weekend, 2 out of 2 in the league. I think one of only a few teams in this league that are 2 out of 2. What kind of test are you expecting on Saturday?
I think it'll be very tough. They've got some good players. I think one is suspended for the midweek cup game, but he comes back. Is it Hegabo? Anyway, I can't. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Hegabo. Yeah, I think he's back against us. I liked Isaac Price at the weekend. I thought he looked really good. Yeah,
they've only been green once.
They're going to have. Yeah, they're going to have a. They're going to have a strong following behind them. They're confident. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. If that name pops up again, Isaac. We need to find out who this Isaac is. I'm sure you'll pop up with some. But no, you're absolutely right. It's always a tough test with West Brom. They're a proper Championship side, aren't they? They're always there or thereabouts. Most seasons. I know last season was a bit of a different one with obviously when they brought in that manager from America that wasn't the greatest and dragged them down the table. But they seem to have settled themselves back down again. They've had a really good start. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It always is against West Brom, and always got to see James Morrison back at the side as well. Love watching him.
And Tony McMahon.
Oh, is he on the coaching staff? Oh.
Yeah, he's assistant manager. Yeah.
There you go. See, so there you go. Both Morrison and McMahon. Well, that takes you back, doesn't it? Them two on the right hand side for the Borough. But quickly get a score prediction out of the three of you for this before I finish it up. John, I'll start with you. Score prediction for Saturday.
2-1 Borough. And Lancashire to score.
Okay. Nick?
I'm going to go 1-1, and I'm going to go Sarmiento to get another.
Okay. Jacob?
I'll say 2-1 Borough. And Whittaker will score. That's what he does, in it. Plays crap for 5 games, has a purple patch, then goes back. So he'll score just to shut me up for another couple of weeks. 2-1 Whittaker. Yeah.
I'll go what John said for Doncaster. I'll say 1-0. And I don't know if you even said Carl Joseph scored at Doncaster, but I fancy he'll score on Saturday, so there you go. I think he'll come back in the team and I think he'll score a goal. Before we do go, obviously after the West Brom game, I'll bring this picture in so people can see at home. Fundraiser, Saturday night at the Dormans. John, I'll let you take over. I say a few tickets have already been sold. There's 300 in total to sell. Floor's yours. I say a lot of entertainment going to be there Saturday night. It's shaping up to be a good night.
Yeah. Live music and a DJ. Raffles to win, signed shirts, signed balls, other good prizes that we've got. I think Manjaro's have put a prize up. I don't mean the skinny jabs, I mean the food. So yeah, I think it should be a good night, and it's obviously the start of the bank holiday weekend. So tickets are £5. You can pay on the day, but we'll put a link up if you want to get your tickets in advance. Come along. All proceeds are going to go towards the 150th anniversary display fund, which it's going to take us a lot of money to pull off for the full stadium. So your help would be much appreciated.
Exactly.
I wonder how much Newcastle's cost yesterday, John.
I don't know. I'll try. I'm going to try and find that out. It wasn't very elaborate, though, was it? I mean, it was just black and white stripes. They had the
they had the team board, didn't they?
Yeah, the banner on the side stand, yeah, and then they had sort of Keegan and the number 7. So I like to say, but sometimes it's more effective when it's simple. If it's over fussy, it gets lost a little bit. But yeah, it was good. But I'll try and find out the cost of that.
Just some breaking news here as well. I don't know whether everybody's seen it. I don't know whether we get a sell on. Sonny Finch has just gone to Grimsby from South Shields.
Yeah, we do. We got to sell. We got to sell, and we got a set of socks.
They activated the release clause.
Bloody hell! Well, there you are.
If you're ever going to finish a podcast, that's the way to do it. There you go.
Yeah, is it on the Sky News ticker tape?
I know I'm going to have to start bringing up a breaking news banner for you all as well. And there you go. If you didn't know, and you really need to know, Sonny Finch has gone to Grimsby from South Shields, and we probably got about 250 quid out of that. So there you go. More in the coffers. If Borough want to donate that to our fundraiser, feel free. But there you go. Nice little bit of breaking news to finish. So on that note, obviously, we'll put all the links etc. out for the fundraiser. Even if you want to buy a couple of tickets and just donate the money, you don't have to. Please do. That'd be great. But I'll leave you there for this week. Jacob, thank you very much. Enjoy your week. Tell Mr. Farage said hi. Nick, thank you very much as usual. We'll talk again during the week. And John and his lovely friend there, thank you very much. Enjoy your week. And to all you lovely people for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, getting involved, getting in touch. Thank you so much. We'll speak next week. Arrivederci, up the Borough. Be seeing you.
Cheers, lads, up the Borough.
You've been listening to the 12th Man Podcast, sponsored by Teesside Commercial Cleaning Services and part of the TalkSport Fan Network. Till next time, up the Borough.
Well, it's all happening here at your favourite